I'm with Louise McClure of Fire Mountain Gems and Beads, and Louise is one of our favorite guests here because you are an amazing artist and designer, and you have not disappointed again. You brought us an incredible piece that we're going to work on today.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
So let's take a look at what we're going to see today.
This piece is it's a mixed media piece, and it's composed of two different sections. The top section is the dream weave that we discussed on one of the earlier segments, and the bottom portion is fringed. It's made with wire and beads from the bead soups, bits and pieces that I've collected, and just wonderful found objects, bits of fabric and ribbons, lace, feathers, and a very simple process to assemble the links, which I'll show you.
Okay, let's start with the top part. Maybe you want to give us a little quick refresher on the dream weave.
Yes, of course. The way I start with the dream weave portion is to gather the largest beads first and just lay them out on a board and to try and look at sheet music, so that you're just positioning some of the larger beads, and then the smaller beads go next to those. And then with the 3-ply nylon cord, I'll start to weave in and out of beads and make strands. And then that simply goes into the spacer bars, and you can continue on to make a bracelet or a necklace. Really interesting technique.
Yeah, that's a great technique. Okay, now we're going into the interesting part.
The fun fringe. Lots of movement in this technique. It is a linked fringe, and I'll start with copper wire. In this case, it's a 20 gauge copper wire. And there are also many colors available, so this is a wonderful way to get colors into your work.
Oh, absolutely. And it becomes sort of part of the piece.
Yes, it does. Exactly. Right. And just I'll clip a length of wire, which I've done here, and go into finishing on the ends, because we don't want the beads to slide off each of the end links on the chain.
How long is the wire that the piece of wire?
I usually work about 9 centimeters at a time. It's a very simple length and can accommodate accommodate to each of the lengths. On this particular one, I've done a curly Q, and it's simply taking the copper wire, and I'll work with the round nose pliers and just make a little curl or a bend in the wire and turn it back on itself, so that you have a nice little shape then to work with on your wire. So very simple. And then the next step, you can either leave it in a fully round form, or I like to sometimes hammer it flat. And to do that, I'll use a little anvil and a hammer, and I'll just pick up the curled wire I've made earlier and lay it on the anvil and just start to tap.
It gives it a whole different look.
It does. It's a whole new dimension. So just tap on that until the wire then becomes flattened.
Right, and that didn't take very long either.
It doesn't take very long at all. No, copper is a very soft, malleable wire, easy to work with. It's a great wire. And then here you'll see that I've already threaded some beads on to the wire with the flattened portion. Again, different colors are available. This is a black, and I've used it here to show the same type configuration. And when you hammer the colored wire, some of the coating will come off. And I particularly like that. That's part of my style. So I like the gnarly look. And on this particular length of wire, I didn't make a curly Q. I just hammered the end flat. And you'll see here how that looks next to...
Oh, look at that. It's almost like a pinhead at the bottom.
It is.
Yeah, it's an original one.
Exactly. Or I can curl the wire. And that works especially well when you have these lovely flower shapes, a bell-shaped flower on the end.
Perfect.
So that's how that is formed.
Very cool. Okay.
On this board, this is how I form ends. If I did not want to have a flattened portion or a wire technique and wanted to do a dangle for more movement, as you can see on this piece, you've got a lot of different dangles mixed in with the flattened portions. So again, start with a length of wire, make an L shape, and I'll just demonstrate this because it's a very simple way to do it. I normally will just make an L at about a 2.5 centimeter point, and with my round nose pliers, I've made a mark with the permanent marker so that I'll be able to make the size of the loops consistently throughout the piece. And this just gives me a nice marker.
Oh, that's perfect.
So I'll start with the L shape.
Great tip.
It's a wonderful way to make it consistent. Wrap it towards myself, slide the pliers out and back in on the lower portion of the jaw, and then continue the wrap around in that direction.
Perfect. Now, you just keep, so you have on one necklace all different types of ends and different loops, and you just keep doing your simple stringing.
And I'll just pull those at random from the bead soup, just to add a little bit more dimension and color and variety to the piece.
Okay. Perfect. And then you just attach them?
Yes, and here are the links that I've attached in line. There's an end link and an inline link. And you can vary, as you can see here, all the way to the lengths from the centermost point, which is the longest, to the very ends, which are the shortest.
Exactly.
And then some of the other details you can add on the end are just multiple pieces.
That's wonderful. Great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Louise. That was gorgeous. I love that. And, of course, these are some of the other just incredible pieces that you've designed. I love, love, love these pieces.
Very similar technique.
Yeah, and it's always so much fun talking to you.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, next up is this week's beading lesson with Katie Hacker.